Now, before we do anything else, hold on for just a second here. Before we do anything else, I got some homework that I got to do. And can you kill the music and turn the mic up a little bit? So, real quick, when you make a mistake, you got to call it out, right? And I made a mistake, so I gotta tell everybody what happened. We're not going to be hearing from the school board tonight. And the reason we're not going to be hearing from the school board tonight is because when I sent the list from the State Board of Education election, I sent the list of the candidates. That's who I got the email addresses from to invite everyone to be here tonight. That list didn't include individuals who were not part of the primary. And since it didn't include people who were not part of the primary, there are two individuals that are running for school board that we're not aware about tonight. And they weren't aware of it until I think maybe today or maybe yesterday. And so rather than try and cover it up, I'm just gonna be honest. Since we did not give them the same notice we gave other people, what we decided to do is that after the primary on October 17th, so the actual primary is what, October 7th, right? October 7th is the primary. There are going to be winners from that primary in the city council, and they're going to come back on October 17th at 6 o'clock. And we'll have the school board candidates here then. And that way you can hear from everybody at the same time, and that way everybody knows about it and everybody has time to prepare themselves for the event. And so it's nobody else's fault, it's my fault. I'll take that hit. And I really want to apologize to the people who are part of school board candidates for the time and effort that you put in getting people to come, and then we're not going to be able to hear from you tonight. But I wouldn't want to do anything that would seem off. And so, hey, I made a boo-boo, okay? So the way the process is going to work tonight is, once again, thank you all for coming. We're going to invite the city council members up first, and they can have a seat anywhere on the dais that they would like to have a seat. And then starting on this side, going to that side. So watch how people sit down since I said that. But starting from this side, going to this side, we're going to give everybody 2 minutes to introduce themselves. Now, once they've introduced themselves, I have a list of cue cards over here that's from you, that's from the audience. The audience has questions for the people running for city council. We're going to go through that list of questions, and we're going to ask questions. If the question is directed to a specific individual, we'll ask that individual first. But quite naturally, if we decide to use that question, we're going to want to know what the other individuals would want to say as well, right? And so we're going to open up the question if we feel like it's necessary. We're not going to be asking a lot of questions that aren't going to help the public decide who is going to be the best person for them for city council, if that makes sense, right? We're not going to be asking them about what they think the price of gold is going to do next week or anything like that. This is basically going to be questions from the public to people that are trying to be their servants in the city council and to help the public get a better idea of who they should vote for. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes. All right. Now, give me your word that I'm going to see y'all here on October 17th. Yes. Say what? Yes. All right, I got a mental picture in my head of every last one of y'all. And if I don't see you, I'm coming to your house, all right? So the first thing that we want to do, and the live stream is running. So if you have someone that was having trouble seeing the live stream, first of all, I want to thank the people who made me think up the live stream, because it was a great idea. We hadn't thought of it before. But also, next week, somebody who's not here can go on the GWCC website and look up this article, and they can actually see this event as well. So it'll be a great opportunity for people who aren't here to still get the same information. And we'll do the same thing for October 17th as well. All right? All right, y'all ready to get started? Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please do me a favor and put your hands together for our current list of candidates for Asheboro City Council. If you guys can please make your way to the stage. of all, is it not great to see so many people excited about being a part of the political system in Asheboro, to see so many people running for city council? I think that's great. I'll really get the mic. So what we're going to do now is each person will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves. Now, full stage. This is Ms. Vanessa Brooks. Many of you might know her from when she was a school teacher. If you didn't have her, you probably got some kids that had her, and you know Ms. Brooks don't play. So Ms. Brooks takes 2 minutes. I mean, you got to do yourself a favor. When she says 2 minutes, that's going to be 2 minutes. How you going to let her know, Ms. Brooks? She's going to let you know. Is that exactly 2 minutes, or is that in 1:30? So when she goes up, you got, thank you very much. Thank you for the good night.
That's to answer the question. 2 minutes.
Well, we hopefully we're not going to need to put a 2 minutes time limit on answer the question, but yeah, there will be a maximum 2 minute time limit on the questions too when they come up. So we're going to start over here with Mr. Woodham, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Timothy Woodham, so I'm known as Timmy the son, the ones I grew up with through Asheboro. Anybody I went to school with, they call me Tim. So that's how I know if I went to K through 12 with you or if I went to college with you. But been a resident of Asheboro all my life. 56, 57 years. Like I said, I'm a graduate of Asheboro High School, graduate of Elon University, played ball over there for 4 years. I'm running for Asheboro City Council. There's 4 slots open, and hopefully I'll be able to earn one of your votes for one of those seats. I'm here to be the voice for the voiceless. Make sure everybody's heard. Once we are, if we're working on one side, developing one part of the city, what be that voice. What are we doing for other parts of the city to bring it in to be one, not separate. We'll be honest. I'm going to be, like I said, trying to be consistent, get you the answers that you're asking for. No answer is a silly question. It's a silly answer. You're a citizen of the city of Asheboro. If you got a question, then that needs to be answered, regardless of what it is. But again, I'm here to be your voice. Transparency, not sneak around and trying to hide things from you. But I want to see Asheboro grow, continue to grow, prosper, and be a shining light of North Carolina. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Al LaPrade. I'm a 42-year resident of Randolph County and 30 years in the city, where I've lived and worked. Started Dial-Up Internet service back in the mid-90s, and kind of the goal there was to bring Asheboro and Randolph County into the 21st century, and we've kind of gotten there. Worked with the Chamber of Commerce for 30 years in various roles, including the chairman. Supported downtown Asheboro's redevelopment. Pretty much anything I can do to help my community, I've tried to do over the years. This seemed like the next logical step, and try to help Asheboro as our continued growth and make sure we're doing what we need to for the citizens of our great town. We've got a lot of new growth coming in our direction, and I think a lot of planning and decisions that need to be made to make sure that occurs in a smooth process. I joke about this. Everybody knows about the sidewalks and nowhere that we have around here. That was something that, if they had taken care of back in planning years ago, we'd have sidewalks everywhere. The city did see fit to start including that in new development, and so as we grow, we need to continue to look at things of that nature while we're allowing new development to occur, that we're taking care of some of the other misses that we've had along the years. So that's pretty much it, and pass this on to Katie here.
Good evening. My name is Katie Snubbs. I came to Asheboro when I was 9 years old, and I've been here ever since. I'm a former city employee. I worked for the city of Asheboro, water and sewer maintenance for 23 years. I was a city council member for 6 years. And there are things that I feel like need to be done, and I want to run again to see if I can get these things done. Good evening, I'm Mary Jo Pugh, and I think Asheboro is at a pivotal point in its history. We have significant growth, and at the same time, we have a major change in leadership. We have a new city manager in place, and in this election, we'll have a new mayor and at least 2 new members of the council. With over 40 years in state and local government experience, I feel, and most of that is 7 years of it was in municipal administration, and right here in Asheboro as the community development director. I feel that I should step up and give back to the city that has become the family hometown, my family's hometown for nearly 50 years. My first priority, being a certified planner for 40 years, is strategic planning for the future. I am, with 40 years experience, I have the know-how to anticipate and prepare for the infrastructure and budgetary challenges that face Asheboro. One of my first things would be to prepare, work with the new mayor and all the council members and the city staff to prepare a fiscally responsible capital improvement plan and budget to address the pressing needs in infrastructure. And those include replacing and expanding an aging water and wastewater treatment plant, a new fire station, replacing water and sewer lines that are over 100 years old. So that will be one of my first priorities. Thank you.
Good evening. If you would, for just a second, take a look around the room. I'll give a little bit of time, just take a look around. When you look around the room, this is Asheboro. There's a number of people who have been born here and have lived here their entire lives, and people like me who chose to come here 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I came to Asheboro from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I came down here to be a teacher, and I taught in our Asheboro City School District for about 10 years before I decided to leave that career and with my wife start a business that is currently growing and supporting our community. I don't think I've said my name yet. My name is Joel McCloskey. I never imagined when I moved here how much Asheboro was going to mean to me. Genuinely, when I moved here 20 years ago, the plan was to be here for about 5 years and then move back to Pittsburgh. And I remember that phone call that I made to my parents and told them that wasn't happening and that I was staying here in Asheboro in the heart of North Carolina. It surprised them, and right now they're still a little bit jealous because they want to come back to Carolina. Asheboro is also it's where I met my wife. It's where we fell in love. It's where we are raising our daughter. It's where we've had the fortune of being foster parents here in Asheboro to multiple children. And over the years, it's been really amazing to see what happens when people pull together with vision and determination to see what can happen, because we all see what has happened. We have downtown revitalization, we have new opportunities, and we definitely have a stronger sense of community. And with those opportunities and changes, we have some challenges, and we're going to hear a lot about those tonight. And we, though your candidates and those who are elected, need to hear what your thought process is. Is that 2 minutes? Am I done? Oh my goodness. Vote for Joe McCloskey.
Good evening. Good to see everybody here today. First thing, I'm gonna give a shout out to the Asheboro Police Department for the fine job they've been doing here recently. They've had some tough times, but they're doing a good job. The reason I'm giving that shout out is that my name is Philip Cheek. I'm one of the sons of Asheboro Cities. And I've been in law enforcement since 1989, working in the law enforcement side. So I've been serving the citizens of Randolph County and Asheboro City since 1989. Still currently serving in that position. Now, the other thing is I want to serve. I served in the school board, have served in the school board for close to 20 years. Just want to serve. I have some of the goals that you have within the city. There are some things that's gonna have to be changed, but it's to serve. I'm here to serve the people of Asheboro. I don't have all the answers. I don't know all the answers, but I'm willing to listen, learn, and serve. Philip Cheek, please vote Philip Cheek.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Heath. It's great to have all of you here this evening, and I want to thank the George Washington Carver Center and the NAACP for doing this event so we can have a conversation with each other. I am currently serving on council, and I want to give you the two main reasons why I've decided to run again. The first reason is I love Asheboro, and I'm deeply invested here. Back in 1990, I met a guy when I was living in the western part of the state who happened to grow up in Asheboro. His family moved here in 1977. He graduated from Asheboro High School in 1982, so I can happily say that I'm a blue comet by marriage. And so I started coming here in 1990 and have certainly seen a lot of changes in that time. Sam and I moved back here in 2006, and at that point I started working for the Randolph Partnership for Children and also worked for Randolph Community College. And that professional experience and all of the volunteer work that I've done in almost 20 years here really has deeply invested me in this community and has made that love for this community grow. The second reason that I am running again is when I filed for election 4 years ago, I talked to a lot of people about what was important to them, and three things kept floating to the surface: public safety, infrastructure, and growing in the right way, growing responsibly, growing intentionally, so that we don't end up like a lot of places that grow too fast. So those three areas became the focus for me, and I'm running again because we still have work to do. I like to think about it as Asheboro's house. Our new city manager used that phrase a few weeks ago, and I really like it, because when it comes to infrastructure, and fortunately we do have a capital improvements plan now that we are working on, that has been sorely needed. But I think about our streets and our sidewalks and our water and sewer lines. We've got to take care of those, our existing facilities and our parks. It's also important, public safety. Without public safety, we have nothing. I look forward to the conversation tonight and talking with all of you. Thank you.
I'm Pamela Van Cannon, and I'm a hometown girl. I currently serve as vice chair on planning and zoning for the city of Asheboro and love doing that job. And I want to carry over some of the things that I've learned and some of the things that I've helped to spearhead through working in that position over to city council. I also have served 2 decades on the strategic plan and the land management plan committee for the city of Asheboro. And I am very focused on you. I understand that we need to have a conversation, we need to listen, we need to work together, and that collaboration is going to be the key to moving forward in the future. And I'm very proud to be an Asheboro resident and to call this my home. I also want to focus on public safety. We need to make sure that we are in tune with what we need as far as public safety. We currently are working hard to recruit, train, and maintain our police department and all the tools that we need to serve you. And our infrastructure, as some others have said, we need our sidewalks, parks, streets, and all those things maintained. We need to concentrate on public safety downtown. And we also need to work on government accountability and make sure that we continue to maintain our accountability that we've had and our awards that we've gotten for the last 20 years on our accountability with our budget and our finances. We also need to continue to look at economic development. We are in a strategic place right now. We've got great things coming for the city of Asheboro and the surrounding area, and we need to capitalize on our strengths and move forward into the future while we still maintain that quality hometown feel that we all love here and we all came here and have continued to stay here to enjoy. We need to make Asheboro a great place to live, work, and play. And we need to focus on our pro-community assets that we have here. We are so blessed to have as many amenities as we have in a city like Asheboro with our parks and recreation and all the things that we have available to us. I'm Pamela Van Cannon, and I'm here to serve you on Asheboro City Council.
Thank you. My name is Bill McCaskill, and I'm running for second term on the Asheboro City Council. First of all, I'd like to thank Chip and the NAACP for having this forum. Also, I'd like to thank all the people running. It's really amazing to see this many people running for City Council. As you checking with the Board of Elections, we have just over 15,000 registered voters in Asheboro. On most elections, we only have 1,200 to 1,500 of those people vote. And I had a hard time understanding that because I get my big tax bill in the mail once a year, and I like to see and know how we're spending our money. So I ran for city council, and I've enjoyed my 4 years on the city council. It's been a big learning curve. I think in the past 4 years we did some great things. First of all, of course, is we have developed our recreation to, I think, is better than any city of our size in North Carolina. We have a sportsplex, a new ballpark. We've worked on our parks, and so that's been a very much of a plus. We also, as you drive through downtown Asheboro, you see it's thriving now, and that's great. We also continue to annex areas into the city of Asheboro. That means that people will live in Asheboro. We've had a lot of new building, apartments and houses, which we need to continue. However, really, at this point in time, Asheboro faces a turning, kind of a crossroads, a turning point. First of all, as mentioned before, we're going to have probably 3 new city council people and a new mayor. Plus, we just hired our new city manager. So things could be different. Policies could change, and I want to be a part of that. And there are several very difficult issues that the council is going to have to decide really right off the bat. I feel like with my experience in the past 4 years and knowledge of the city government now, that I would be good to work on these new issues, and so I appreciate your vote. My name is Bill McCaskill. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Kevin Garcia. I'm running for Asheboro City Council. I want to thank everybody who's here, Mr. Chip for organizing this, our police, public safety, and all you guys for being here. It's because that means you really care, and everybody who's watching live stream. My name is Kevin Garcia. I grew up in the backyard of the Corridor Road Apartments. So this place means a lot to me because I grew up walking these streets. And thank you for all the people who already have done it because you helped infrastructure grow. And me, I'm a newcomer. I'm young. And which also means I'm hungry. So it's an advantage because I get to ask those questions. Somebody asked me out here earlier, hey, have you been to the meetings? And I'll be honest, I haven't, but I've been watching YouTube a lot. And I've been reading, and I've been doing a lot of research to be prepared and to be the voice. I've been here 30 years. I Asheboro High School, went to RCC here. I'm a teacher at RCC as well, work for the Small Business Center as well. I have 2 businesses in our Asheboro city limits for Garcia Sports Therapy. I worked for our hospital for over a decade. I'm a healthcare provider at heart. So we're all about giving back to our communities. I want to be that voice who works with everybody who's here, who works with everybody, even in different cities, our neighbors. A good friend of mine just got nominated in Charlotte. If we have a question, hey, what are you guys doing in Charlotte? I have those point of contacts to be able to reach out and figure out solutions for everybody. My goal is to be the voice, the face for everybody, and especially being Latino, especially for our diverse community that's about 33% here. So thank you guys, and vote for Kevin Garcia for Asheboro City Council. Appreciate you guys.
How's it going, guys? How we doing today? All right, so, oh goodness gracious, sorry. Yeah. So my name is Aaron McLendon. I'm running for Asheboro City Council, and so what I'm seeing a lot here is a lot of people that have come out for this, and a lot of people that want their voices heard. And that's what I'm here for. Instead of saying what I want to do for the people, I'm saying what that you guys want done. And we need to listen to you as a community and listen to you as people, work with the mayor, work with, anyone else, who is elected or stays elected. This is what we're here to do. We are here to serve you. All right? We're not here to push agendas. We're not here to say what we want done. We're here to listen to you guys. So, Aaron McClendon, City Council, thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jimmy Eford. I'm an epidemiologist, but more importantly, I'm a bottleneck blues slide guitarist. And I say that because Asheboro is a very unique cultural and arts center of the universe, so to speak. Bicentennial Park is amazing. You have the zoo, and you have other things like Walmart and many aspects of a small town that resembles much larger towns. And we have one of the best police forces in the country here. So Asheboro will grow significantly. It's a major bedroom community. It's going to grow in the sense that with overflow from Greensboro as well as from Chapel Hill and those areas, as North Carolina becomes more multicultural and multi-ethnic. And I kind of want to real briefly describe this, and I'll hand this around. This is a notice from Randolph Community College. It's the International Festival, and it lists a variety of different cultures that presented at this International Festival. But this is dated from September 10th, 1994. So Asheboro's been one of the leaders in multicultural activities, and this is something that I think going forward we need to have that kind of diversity in our communities, good cultural centers like here, and as well as diversity and folks from all around the world, because that's what's going to attract Asheboro for businesses. As businesses look for safe neighborhoods to establish their businesses, they'll look at Asheboro as what does Asheboro offer, and it offers a lot. You can look around the room here, you see it, all types of different cultures, and that's what I support. Thank you again. My name's Jimmy.
Okay, my microphone is too hot, so I don't luckily need a microphone. The first question that we're going to do, well, first of all, everybody, one more time, can we please give it up to our candidates one more time? A lot of these questions are asking the same thing. And so what I want to do is I want to try and combine what I'm seeing here to sort of ask one general question that anyone can answer. Now, with that in mind, if you don't feel like this is a question that you really have a passion or about it's in your belly, or value, whatever they say, then you don't have to answer. No one has to answer. But if you do answer, we're going to ask you to keep that answer under 2 minutes, if you understand what I'm saying. So if you don't answer this time, it just means we give more time to ask more questions, right? We're gonna end at the same time, so it doesn't matter. So what I'm seeing here is a lot of people are concerned about the city's finances. In one situation, they're saying that how does the city plan to address funding cuts that have affected seniors, such as Meals on Wheels and working with the city council. Another question is what initiatives, and of course if you're going to have an initiative that costs money, what initiatives will you put forward to promote small businesses? And another question is asking about the infrastructure in Asheboro, our roads and our sidewalks. So basically, with those things and questions from a financial standpoint, what do you see as the way that Asheboro is going to deal with the funding cuts that we've seen federally, but also taking care of our seniors, trying to create, initiatives to bring or to promote small businesses in our city. Who would like to go first? All right, well, hold on, Bill reach first. Go ahead.
Might learn something from you. First of all, let me say that Asheboro is in good financial condition. We did spend a lot of money on the sportsplex on Macquarie Ballpark. Our cash flow kind of got low. In fact, we, one year went below what the state recommended is for us to keep on cash on hand. However, we've rebounded from that, and now we're in good shape. We meet the state qualifications for having cash on hand. So I want to emphasize that Asheboro is in good financial shape. However, everything costs money, obviously. There's many things that we want to do in Asheboro, and that will make for quality of life. However, you've got to think about the financial situation first. And as I mentioned briefly when I first spoke, we have extremely high tax rate. We kind of had to raise taxes like that to get the sportsplex paid for and to get Macquarie Ballpark paid for. But the good thing is we didn't borrow any money to do these projects. So Asheboro has really no long-term debt. So what we have to do is we have to budget carefully and watch our finances and just be sure that we make the right decisions on this.
You understand?
As far as the questions about the nonprofits and helping them, last budget year, we budgeted around $300,000 for nonprofits. This year, we budgeted $250,000. The city manager felt like that we needed to try to again, watch our funds and not budget as much. I would have supported $300,000 for nonprofits because nonprofits really help our quality of life. We have a lot of people in the community who need help, which the city has helped in the past and should help in the future. But we do need to be careful with our finances. We have all kind of infrastructure needs that will need to be met. Most of these infrastructure we'll get through with the help of grants, and we can talk about that later.
Anybody else want to hold up your seat and I'll
So Bill touched on a couple things that I was going to mention, but I do want to share that Randolph Senior Adults did get $50,000 for Meals on Wheels. I'm a Meals on Wheels volunteer, so that's personally important to me. But Bill touched on our budget, that budget where we had the tax rate increase, in addition to covering some of the costs for the sportsplex and the ballpark. A huge part of that was public safety. And I talked about that in my opening comments, how important that is, that if we don't have public safety, we don't really have anything. We have to retain and attract public safety professionals. And at the time that budget was going on, there were almost bidding wars between different departments to try and recruit officers. So a large part of that budget was to ensure that we retained people and to attract people. At that point, I want to say we were like 18 officers down. We have 18 vacancies. We are now fully staffed. So what does that mean to all of you with these recent tragedies that we've had? That meant that we could have a full response at Marshall's. That meant that we could have an officer with the search crews that were looking for the little boy. So these things mean something. That retention rate also has impacted how we've been addressing the homeless issue, which I know a lot of people are concerned about. But the nonprofit decisions were very difficult to make, but I did want to clarify that Meals on Wheels was funded at almost the same amount that I got last year.
Not being currently on council, I can't speak a whole lot to why things have been done in the past on budget and until I would obviously get a chance to look at what we got a budget. It'd be hard to project without that information, but I can say that we have a very strong downtown community when it comes to small businesses. We have a great resource through our local community college. You can find a lot of support actually within our downtown Asheboro Inc. nonprofit for that resource, as well as the local Chamber of Commerce, which I've been active in both. To the topic of roads and sidewalks, I think it's important. I see a lot of comments on Facebook and online social media There seems to be a large amount of confusion on who owns what roads, which sidewalks fall under whose responsibility. And so I think from a city standpoint, it's key to be able to send constituents to the right place to find the help they're looking for. Most people are probably unaware that a large number of our roads are actually state-maintained roads. We only have 3 roads in the state of North Carolina. It's either a private road, a city street, or a state road. And so what most people are familiar with, you look at Cox, Church, and Park Streets are DOT state roads. Salisbury is a state road. Most recently, the city just paved a section of Cox. That's the section the city owns. So from Salisbury to Pritchard Street is city-owned and maintained. It got paved. The part from Salisbury back to 64 is a state road, state-maintained. And so getting the right entity to be aware of what the problem is a key component. And as council members, it's our duty to help direct folks to the right resource. Not just say it's not our problem, but help them get to where they need to go. But with that being said, you got to know where to send them. You can't just simply say I don't know.
I think that's an excellent question, and like how I'm not currently on the city council, but I do know about municipal government. I actually have a certificate in municipal administration from the University of North Carolina, the Good School of Government there. But that's why my emphasis will be on planning and on a capital improvement budget. Plan and budget. And what I mean by that is what you do is you make a list of all the pressing needs. You put them in priority order. And then you figure out how much money you have for capital improvements. And then you go through that list. And some of those you're going to have to do in phases. I don't know exactly what happened, with the different things that were going on and raising taxes and so forth. But I'm one of these people, and when I was the deputy director of the North Carolina Zoo for 30 years, we had a lot of projects, and we had to do them in phases. As a matter of fact, Asia is only phase 1. We couldn't do the whole thing. So that's what I think you have to do, and those are the decisions you make in putting together a capital improvement budget, a plan, and then a budget. And you just go down there, figure out when you got to have that money, and make a plan. I'm not judging or anything on what the city's done so far, because I really don't know all those details, but that's one of the importance of that. And in doing that, with all this growth, Asheboro needs to figure out what is dear to them so that we can keep it and enhance it. And one of the things is the downtown and quality of life issues. I was a vice chair of the Randolph County Tourism Development Authority and for 20 years, and I know how to do quality of life amenities for both our residents and for our tourists. And we need to make sure we use that money that we have for that to market. Thank you.
May I speak?
Was it the main?
You gotta go in the box. What'd you do? It's gonna go to Timmy and then go back. Okay, then I'll go to you.
Again, like I said, I'm not currently sitting on council, but so you're not there to actually see the numbers. But one thing we did make sure that we are good stewards of the citizens of Asheboro money. I don't money that taxes that they pay. I don't believe in raising taxes. We just got to be smart how we do things and create lists that's going to be what's more important, and then work that list like that. We also, there we go, testing. We also need to, like I said, be more put people when they want when they have questions. we can point them in the right direction to get that answer. Just don't brush them off, and ignore them. I guess that's one thing that drives people crazy is you act like you don't care. Act like the question is important. I'm driving around Asheboro during the summer months and stuff. I don't think I've seen one water main break, but when I was driving around during the winter months, I see them all the time. So it's got to be a better way of planning for the infrastructure and what needs to be fixed and how we can do it. What's going to be best for the city of Asheboro. And then also with the sports complex and the ball field, all that is we spent on that, but that's all for the benefit of the city of Asheboro. Because we're centrally located. We're in a good spot. Like I said, we're hour away from Charlotte, hour away from Raleigh, 30 minutes away from Greensboro. So we got to use that to our advantage. Continue to bring people in. People come in, they use those facilities. Tax. That's money for especially for the small businesses. Thank you.
So, real quick, everybody, is Mr. Garcia's next, and then it'll be Ms. Marquez. But real quick, all of your mics are fine. We got rid of the bad mics, so I just have to yell on that. All right, Mr. Garcia.
Okay, yes. Also, me being a newcomer, I work at the Roundup Community College Small Business Center. We literally get grant lists and we help nonprofits and LLCs sign up every single month. That's something that I would be able to bridge the gap, help connect and find those resources. But also being a newcomer, I want to get some help from my colleagues here to the right of me who are on the board. And we have to, me being a newcomer, I get that vision to be, hey, is there any way we can cut here to help save this program, or vice versa? Any way, for the allocation, we try to help that out. The sports flex, I'm a big fan of it. I have a vision of bringing extra economy to that with being a small business owner, especially with the Latino community. We have a taco truck at every gas station here. I see a short-term plan with bringing small businesses, kind of a farmer's market style, to the sports flex short-term vision, eventually long-term vision, commercial restaurants that are interested. So that's part of my big plan, business expansion, to try to find solutions to this economy and bring more budget and to Randolph County and Asheboro.
We have a lot of things that we can build on here in the city of Asheboro that are countywide. We have our new agricultural center that is going to be opening. We also have our sportsplex, which we've invested a lot of money in. We have our historic McCreary Ballpark that we have 4 different ball teams playing at that year-round. So we are giving that facility a lot of use, and that brings a lot of intrinsic value to our families. We also have the Jewel of Downtown, our Sunset Theater, and that is a great venue. We have our Bicentennial Park, which hosts venue events all the time, and we are very blessed to have as many events and as many economic drivers as we have to drive our tourism and development across the city of Asheboro. And hopefully we are going to see that continue to grow, and we'll be able to focus on getting more tournaments and getting more revenue into the city based on these venues that we have. And we'll be able to make ourselves a destination. We are becoming a destination for people to come and spend the weekend, spend the night. Our hotels stay full. We we're in the process of getting 2 new hotels, actually 3, a boutique hotel downtown. So we are experiencing a lot of growth and a lot of revenue opportunities. We have an opportunity though to build our small businesses around that as well. A lot of cottage industries come with the Toyota plant, and we have a lot of small businesses downtown. And just to give you one example of, as a planning and zoning chair, we focused on our restaurants not having enough dining space and needing more revenue coming in. Those are small businesses, and they were directly affected by our decision to help put ordinances in place so that they could have sidewalk seating and dining, which boosted their revenue and gave small businesses a boost. Sometimes we are not able to do what the EDC can do, but we can look at what we can do on an individual basis to help small community businesses and people to thrive, and that's important to me.
Mr.
Yes, you know, I'm gonna have to agree here. Oh, does it, no, it does not. Let's see now, okay, there we go. You know, I'm gonna have to agree here with, pretty much everything you just said. And, you know, I do wanna go ahead and go out here and say that Mr. McCloskey has revolutionized downtown Asheboro. He has. I mean, he's doing things that no one thought anybody could do. You know, they started in, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, it was a garage, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, the stuff that you guys are doing is amazing, you know, and we need more leaders like you. We need more people, you know, like you know, to lead this community, and I want to be a part of that. You know, and a lot of people say that, you know, all of us are running against each other. It's a team. We're all a team, you know. I'm not running against anybody. I want to run with people to work together as a team. You know, I look out here and I see a lot of familiar faces. Sure, maybe I have your vote. If not, that's all right. But we need more people, you know, like everybody on this panel, you know, here to, you know, to lead this community. And I feel like that, you know, if we get that in here, then, you know, we're gonna be set. Thank you.
Every generation is what will be important. 5 years from now, we will not recognize Asheville. The amount of growth that will happen will be amazing. I was saying that 5 years from now, we will not recognize Asheville. The amount of growth that will happen over that 5 years will be phenomenal. You know, we always see it with the Toyota factory, you know, coming on into play and other companies. But with that growth, there needs to be negotiations with each, you know, company that comes to set up shop. There has to be monies that are set aside for the school systems, money set aside for community centers, monies that are set aside for arts and theater. But that's what's gonna drive that growth in an organic way. That this will be a family-orientated community. I think together everybody, you know, wants that, and we need to be very careful that the growth is very organic in nature.
Turn it on.
From a matter of fiscal responsibility and budgets and the cuts and promises that we have seen for the future of Asheboro, I think whoever ends up on city council, whoever the mayor is, working with the organizations here in our town to make sure that we're prioritizing our needs over our wants, making sure that we measure those outcomes so that we can make sure that what we're doing is working and working in the ways that benefit all of our communities, and that we want to fund programs that work and programs that make a genuine difference in as many lives as possible. And I believe that every public dollar should create safer streets, should create stronger neighborhoods, and at the end of the day, create a city that cares for all of its people.
Okay.
With the strategic plan that Asheboro has in place right now, the thing of it, they want to make this Asheboro a place of desire, a desire for everybody. Looking at the different budgets and everything, although you have to cut some, just like when I was sitting on the school board, we have to cut some things, not always to what we want to, but you have to cut some in order to reach the goal. And I believe, like I said, I think they have done a fairly good job of managing the money at this time. Yes, we look at the sportsplex and we look at over at Macquarie how they spent a bunch of money. What's not said is a lot of individuals donated a lot of money to those places too. A lot of the individual donate their personal money to help. And then they had also grants also.
Okay, to the next question. And we've got 3 more questions that I want to get through. But again, if you're passionate about this, raise your hand, we'll definitely get to you. But that's, hearing what you have to say is more important than anything else as far as I'm concerned. One of the major issues that's in front of me a lot right here is our unhoused population in Asheboro, and what city council can do in terms of helping those that are unhoused. And a lot of the questions are geared towards what do you see city council being able to do? And I guess, I don't know the nicest way to say this, they're asking, are you going to support stricter enforcement of just arresting these people? Or are you going to support programs to get people off of the streets, or both, basically? That's the gist that I'm getting. So who would like to go first? Mr. LaProsse.
Being in the heart of that particular problem downtown, I'll say that our local police department has done an excellent job in the recent month, 2 months. They've gotten a few new tools in their tool belt. We've had a lot of folks who have been sleeping in doorways, things of that nature, trespassing, and we all have compassion for the folks who are in those situations. The problem that most of the property owners specifically have is the trash and damage that's done in the wake of someone seeking shelter. We've all faced that in our downtown community. It's a tough nut to crack, so to speak. One of the things that we perceive is we've got a mental health center, Daymark, that brings in clients, customers, however you want to look at it, from 6 other counties besides our own. And these people, when they get done with treatment or don't finish the treatment, they walk out the front door with no particular return to wherever they came from. And so we're left with folks who have just been deposited in our community that have nowhere to go, no way to get out. And so they now become our own displaced citizens. We have a new lease on life with the, I'm gonna get the name wrong, but it was referred to the Hope Place of Grace. They just recently had a new ribbon cutting. They've done a great job on changing hands. There was stories of folks who were being charged to stay there and they had no means in which to pay for it. That's a change, and that helps. It's going to take a combination of folks and a combination of solutions, but not an easy one. Talk all day.
I'm going to go and speak, and then I'm going to do. And hold up, before I go any further, I would like to say to people who have not answered the question yet, I will give those people who have not answered the question yet precedence. But right now, the first thing I saw was Matisse, and then I'm going to go get you.
So since I've been on council, the homeless issue is something that we talk about all the time. There's presentations at meetings, but behind the scenes in between meetings, we talk about it. And I continue to be supportive of the comprehensive approach that we have taken up to this point. And what that involves is our code enforcement team and public works teams offering people services. We want to show people compassion. We want to show people understanding. There are a lot of mental health issues, drug use, all those kind of things. We have a lot of services here. So that's the first step, is to try and get people linked up with services. If they're not interested in that, and this is a process over time, this is not an instantaneous thing. If they're not interested in that, we have had over 100 businesses file no trespass orders, so that gives our police officers some enforcement capability. We are providing transportation for people. There's places like Keaton's Place that are providing transportation for folks that can get back to their hometown. Speaking of funding nonprofits, we are providing funding to Place of Grace. which as Al said, they're on a really good track, much better than what was going on before. And the city also provides funding for Lydia's Place. The police are doing a sweep downtown, starting at about 4 o'clock in the morning until shift change, and that has certainly helped with some of our specific problems downtown. But I am in support and remain in support of the comprehensive approach that we've tried to follow to address this issue with compassion for people.
Thank you. So, my biggest question is, there are so many vacant lots here with buildings, in them, and we're raising questions about the homeless. Why are we not coming together as a community to, create, something that can, get them off the street and get them off of, the roads and like somebody mentioned, about the trash and stuff. Why are we not, coming together as a community to sit here and address that situation? Because the thing is, they are people too. They're human beings. And they deserve love as much as we all do. I don't deserve more love than they do. They deserve love from all of us. So if we can come together as people and as a community, then that's our duty as people. Thank you.
So I just wanted to address the homeless. It is a very serious and very large issue. We have a lot more homeless, I think, where you see a few. I think there are a lot more that you don't realize are out there. And I also think that we have a lot of homeless individuals that are working. I personally know people who are employed full-time and are living in their cars and not having a place to sleep and having to go to the YMCA to take showers. And they're not drug addicts. They're not mental health issues. They just cannot afford to have an apartment because of affordable housing issues. And then there are the people who have mental health issues, drug addiction, and other problems that need to be addressed. We have community navigators that go out with our planning and zoning team and our code enforcement to clear these locations. It happens over a long period of time. They go out and they visit, they make services available. If those individuals deny those services and they don't want to take part in those services, then the only other option for them is to move from that location, because we have to clean up these locations. They are unsafe. There are needles, there is human excrement, there's all kinds of things on these locations, and it requires actual hazmat cleanup in order to get these resolved. And so we're talking about the city spending an exponential amount of time and money on these issues. And then at the same time, the comprehensive approach of trying to find options for them and helping them to navigate and get services either through government agencies or through community nonprofits. And we do have a large number of nonprofit groups, the United Way, Lydia's Place, the Shelter of Hope that has just been redone as the Place of Grace. And then we also have had an issue with warming shelters and cooling shelters in the heat of the winter, of the summer and in the winter. And we have addressed that with some funds to help with a place for them to go and to set up temporary shelter for that. So there are a lot of issues that are encompassed in this, and we would be glad to answer any more of your questions and talk through it with you and try to find solutions together.
Okay, let me, I see you, Mr. Pastor, but I want to add to the question a little bit because of something that Ms. White-Cannon just said. And that is the issue of affordable housing in Asheboro. There are a lot of new housing developments that are coming up, but I don't know that we can put the word affordable right beside those new housing developments because the prices of rent are going up exponentially. So what can city council do? And Mr. McCaskey, you can answer the last question of this next one, it's up to you. But what can city council do to help with the affordable housing issue that residents in Asheboro are seeing? That's something I'd like somebody to speak up on next.
well, those issues kind of come together there. But I would like to say, it's been emphasized by several speakers here about the need for the community to get together. My opinion is the community has been getting together working on this. In fact, if you recall the real cold days we had last year, this room was full of people, street people, who were brought in and warmed and given something to eat. There were volunteers who staffed this 24 hours a day. And so, there are nonprofits that work on this problem too. The original question seemed to say, you have to choose between enforcement or just helping these people. That's not true. You work both ways on this. I mean, if they're breaking the law, then the police enforces that. But we also try to help these people. It's been described here. We send a social worker out to work with them. The city has helped fund this new a shelter there on Kenneth Street. And so I think that is the total answer. All of us have to work on that, on a very serious problem with people with mental health issues, people with drug addiction issues, and the fact that we don't have a lot of low-income housing. In fact, the Asheboro Housing Authority has not built a low-rent apartment in over 50 years. I think we need to try to work on doing something like that, is getting some apartments that people can afford. We have to do it through government grants because it costs so much to build anything these days. So, and I think other city council members have been agreed to work on that. And we also need to help with the zoning so people can build lower rent apartments to help people. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jim?
Jimmy.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. Before Bill had answered, Ms. McKenna had already raised her hand, so let me let her go.
It's fine.
Okay, and then I'll go to you.
That's fine.
I give the example of Durham. Durham had the same problem, and it's largely reverse of the homelessness problem, because every time they build a new apartment complex, the city council has required them to have so many units that are dedicated to low-income folks. And actually, you look at the number of units that are going to be built here over the next 5 years. The city council needs to have in place, that same type of contracts that Durham has, to where, so many folks, have so many of those units in those complexes are dedicated to low income.
So with regard to affordable housing, I just want to say that we do have several complexes that are coming up that are actually breaking ground now and being worked on. And we do have several that are already in existence. We have the Sunset Place Apartments, which already houses affordable housing candidates, and that's income subsidized. We also have a new complex going up on the corner of Church and Kivett, I believe it is. That it's right by Sunset. It's right by it's on Kivett. Yeah, Kivett. It is a large planned unit development for seniors, and that is going to be subsidized housing for our senior population, because we do have a serious need there. These developments have developers that come in that work with the city in order to put together the best possible plans, and then the grants are provided and the funding is provided from North Carolina Housing Finance Agency in a lot of cases. And then from that, our citizens get a reduced rate on their apartment living, and that is very substantial to the quality of life for our seniors. We have another complex that's going up down on Sunset Avenue, and we are looking constantly for other opportunities to do this and partner with developers. We did approve one, for instance, on Salisbury Street, but they did not get the funding from North Carolina Housing Agency, so that developer passed that by, and hopefully it'll be looked at again in the future by another developer. So we're constantly looking at ways to provide affordable housing, and we do need to invest in more low-income housing, and also in cleaning up the low-income housing that we have and making it attractive and conducive to live in and to enjoy a better quality of life there. So we do have some issues that we need to address with affordable housing in various pockets that we need to look at.
Yes, ma'am. This is, then I'll go to the next question. It is on its turn.
I think you turned it off.
So the development that Pam just mentioned, that's kind of across from Memorial Park, that's gonna be 48 senior housing units. And just in the last 4 years, I looked at the stats, we've approved 1,803 housing units. We've got about 900 under review right now. Our planning and zoning department worked really hard with developers to ensure that we provide more housing. One other really neat thing that's happening, has been a vacant house on Elm Street for years, has been issues. So the city is facilitating with Habitat for Humanity, and it's looking really good that Habitat for Humanity is going to be able to get that house to be able to turn it into housing for someone. So we're looking at those kind of things also because we do have some vacant housings. There's opportunity there to work with organizations like Habitat. But my point is we're approving as much housing as we possibly can as long as it's a good fit for the property. We have certainly had some proposals that have not been good fits, and we want to preserve what makes Asheboro special. I will disagree with what Dr. Eford said earlier, that we're not going to recognize Asheboro. If council is doing its job, we will retain what is special about Asheboro, and we will recognize it.
Just want to make a comment on the housing. Two properties I think that were left off of that list were the Asheboro Mill Lofts, which is income-based housing as well, which has now been here I think for about a decade. And recently the Church Street Lofts at the corner of Salisbury and Church Street is attached to senior adults. I think that is 55 and up is the primary target for that, but it is income-based. Great, both of those are great properties, mill rehabs, and they don't work without tax credits, HUD funding, that sort of thing. And so that really takes those projects and makes them viable. I think one of our problems we see across the country right now with housing is we have some mega investment groups that are buying up properties, and they are quite honestly controlling some of the rates. And that's kind of hard to compete against when you talk about private sector versus public sector. Government's only able to do so much without getting into infringing on somebody else's rights. And so that's one of those things that's a tightrope to walk, I guess, if you will, from a council standpoint. How do you influence someone's decision on what they want to build with their money and their project? But certainly something that is a definite need within our community, and as Kelly pointed out, is trying to make sure we, and Pam, pick the right projects to help support.
I just want to point out, I think you can hear from all the speakers, one of the main things you have to do is partnerships. There's no one answer. You have to put together a comprehensive plan, and you have to have partners, and they have to be at the right moment. So I think that's one of the things that I know United Way, I'm on the board of United Way, and we're looking at a plan to see if we can't meet some of these problems of people that are working people but can't have affordable housing. So I think the takeaway is the council needs to work together, and like I said, I have experience in getting different partners together and everybody playing their part in coming up to a solution. Thank you.
To kind of add to what everybody's saying here, our goal is to find solutions. I work a lot with the immigrant community here in Asheboro. When somebody comes and it's hard for them to get to their job from point A to point B, we need to find solutions. A lot of the answers, people have came to me with their concerns, such as homelessness. I think we have a bus transportation system that's underused. I have a vision there to be able to have, and that's what the vision I bring is a little bit more younger and global, just from my family from bigger cities and different countries from outside. But what we do with the local organization where you buy your lumber and stuff, there's always people who want to work. We want to find people who want to work. We need to get them 1099, and we can find work for people who want to work. There's always labor for construction locally. We need to find a bigger plan. My wife is a social worker and a counselor in town. Is it mental health? I work at the college, can we get somebody who dropped out of high school, was 18 plus, can we get them free education? The answer to that, minority doesn't matter whether you're brown, black, white, purple, alien. The majority of the time is yes, we can get you free education at the local community college. So finding these resources, bridging the gap, working with all these nonprofits that I also work with already, with the chamber, finding these opportunities, we gotta find solutions for but I don't think police is already full. I'm sure you guys already know that. So I don't think that's the solution. We gotta find the right solutions and for sure to help our community out. It hits home personally.
All right, this will be the last question for our city council members. Now, I'm sure you've always heard that all politics is local. So you won't be surprised that quite a few of the questions that I received from the audience was, what can the city council do to help develop the east side, where we are right now? So what we're asking from these questions is, what can city council do to help spur development on this side of town? Mr. Wood.
Communication. You gotta be willing to, we're here to serve. So we gotta be willing to sit down and listen to the people of East Side and hear what they got to say. That's it. No answers are wrong. No question is wrong. And give them the answer. If you don't have the answer off the bat, get back with them. But make sure you just don't keep brushing East Side off and help develop it. As the city of Asheboro grows, all other parts of not only East Side but North Asheboro needs to grow with the downtown area. There's a lot of people as you come into the city, a lot of times they're coming in from the north area. So it needs to be welcoming also, and the project and different things that the East Side already has. What can we do to help develop those buildings that's going to benefit not just East Side but Asheboro as a whole, because nobody should feel afraid to come in north, south, east, or west. We're one community. We're a very diverse community, and it's only going to make us better. As Asheboro grows, Randolph County grows, and it starts with Asheboro. And we need to make sure we're taking care of all, because taxes are coming out of north, south, east, and west.
I would, I'd say from the east side standpoint, don't be afraid to ask. Because as Tim mentioned, I mean, we're here to listen. We're always going to be here to listen. Whether we're sitting up here, that's the reason we're here in the first place. Is everybody at this table has a passion to serve at some level. I've seen developers develop stuff that you would have thought should have been burned to the ground or pushed over. There's a diamond in the rough everywhere you look. And so if there's something, somebody has an idea, finding those connections, as Mary Joan has pointed out, that's really what's key in a community. I mean, I may not know the answer, but I may know somebody who does, or somebody else, or I may know someone else who might be able to find an answer. And so just communicating those desires and needs, and never make the assumption that nobody's going to fix anything. I've seen properties that I walk in and go, why is the roof leaking? I go, well, we don't think the landlord will fix it. I go, well, have you asked them? It's little things of that variety. So if there's a need, certainly bring it to somebody's attention. If there's an idea, bring it up. Talk to somebody, spread it out, spread the word a little bit, and things will happen. We all familiar with Gather over here, which I think just changed names. I think I saw it this week. They were making a change. Things of that variety. Get the word out. There's great places to come over here on the east side. I'm personally looking forward to going and eating in a new place.
I was on city council, and we have had people to come up and ask for sidewalks to be fixed. And we don't have anything over here for our young people. The Boys and Girls Club, that place is not fit for a Boys and Girls Club. I've been there every day, or almost every day, since it's been what it is now. I had a grandson over there. I had nieces and nephews over, but I took my grandson out. It is not fit. We need somewhere for these young people to go and something for them to do. In the summertime, they have to walk all the way across town to go swimming. And I just don't think it's fair. I think there should be more over on the east side for the young people to do.
So, I'm gonna get the hang of this now, that's the last question. So to go back to what I talked about initially with infrastructure and public safety, certainly being sure that we're taking care of the roads and sidewalks over here. You know, some roads that I've noted really need some work. Lavinia Cross, the Brewer Watkins intersection is really bad. I'm sure several of you out here could give me other suggestions for that. But ensuring that is fixed. And then taking care of the existing parks, you know, the park on Brewer. And I agree with Katie. I'd love to see a splash pad over here or some type of activity for the kids involving water, so they're not having to walk so far to do something. But I'd like to hear from people, you know, being on council, what do you see? Those are just the things that I see, certainly focusing on infrastructure and ensuring that we're keeping everybody safe.
I was just gonna reiterate the issue of listening, communicating, and collaborating, roundtable discussions, maybe a group of people that get together on a very regular basis to throw out ideas, to discuss the assets that the east side has and how we can enhance those. And also more opportunities for children across the city to get involved in community activities and to get involved in youth-related activities to keep them going in the right direction, as well as beautification and management of our sidewalks and infrastructure on the east side to keep everything clean, beautified, and walkability and connectivity. All of those things are critical, and because our city is so old, 200 and some years, 225, 227, we need to invest in our infrastructure, and part of that will help the east side as well. So, but definitely collaboration, listening, conversations, asking ideas. That's where it all starts, is with people getting together on a regular basis and saying, what can we do? How can we improve? And it needs to be people from across the city coming in to help you guys, and you coming out to help us and giving us ideas and feedback as well. And I think there are lots of opportunities for the east side. And, you know, it is a drive-through area that, you know, when people come to our city, they come through the east side. So it depends on where you're coming from. You guys are directly connected to the Ag Center now. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for development, and I think that we should capitalize on some of the assets that the east side has and try to grow the east side with the rest of the city of Asheboro.
Thank you. Being a planner, I think you need to put together a plan of what you'd like to do. You know, listen to everybody, have brainstorming, pick out issues that you really think are important, and make a list of them, and then go after them. I can tell you that as the community development director, many times Addie Luther would come to me and say, I want this. But she had her plan together, she knew what she wanted, and what I had to do is go find the resources for it. And I was able to do it. We had housing rehab, we did a park, we paved streets, but that's what it takes. So I think we need to put some emphasis on the east side and to do that thing. She would even come to me when I went to Raleigh. And usually she had her plan together, so all I had to do was figure out how to get other partners to get it done. So that's what I would say is get together, listen to each other, put together a big wall of ideas, and then pick which ones are priorities, and then come to the city council, or we'll meet with you, and we'll get something done.
looking at the east side and being from the east side, there's a lot of items up here and things we need to address. And once again, we're gonna have to come together and come to the city council and let us know what we need. It's all about working together. Like I said, and now looking at some of the roads over here on the east side, I do know this for a fact, that it is, a lot of them is DOT roads. So it's the state to fix, it's not the city to fix. Because I ride on some of these roads over here and I get upset now. So, but like I said, and with addressing the sidewalks and things, we do need to get things done. The park needs to be up to par. It needs to be just like any other park in the city of Asheboro. We should go to any park in Asheboro, it should be the same as if we are on north side, south side, west side, it should be the same. So whatever park you go to, it's an Asheboro park, and that's what it needs to be.
If you drive up and down Lowe's, Glovetti and Brewer, you'll see a lot of empty lots. What happened years ago was they came and tore the houses down on these lots, and they didn't bother to fix houses back. So we need to get together with public and private and get some people in here to build some houses. Now, Asheboro is actually in kind of an apartment boom right now. There are a lot of apartments, nice apartments, two-story apartments being built around Asheboro. I really don't understand why they don't use some of these lots here over in the east side, because there's plenty of them, and we need to really do that and emphasize that. Also on Girls and Boys Club, there's a grant pending to try to get the roof fixed on the old central school, and hopefully, if that grant didn't come through, the Department of Commerce, I think the city needs to take the bull by the horns and get that roof fixed so we can get the kids back up at the gym where they need to be.
So I come from these streets. These streets saved me. Think to a basketball, a soccer ball, a bicycle. I come from these streets, so I know exactly what it takes and what it is to live and come from this area. I have some friends trying to open up a chicken shop right here, so we need to get things like that. That's something I would be bringing. I have a lot of Latino. My business covers from Charlotte to Raleigh. I have a lot of people that come see me here in the heart of Asheboro. They want to invest in Asheboro, and me being diverse, I know people who want to open up taco stores, pupusa shops, which is different diversities of Latino America. That's step one. But also, going back to the previous question, can we look at an area where we can do tiny homes, just like our neighbors in Greensboro are doing, for specific areas to help with homelessness, affordability? I think that's, at the end of the question, from spiritual, love thy neighbor. We have to I see us doing stuff at the Sportsplex, yes, that are more for small businesses, local businesses, commercial restaurants at those concession stands, but I see a vision of us doing events here, doing events with our neighbors and collaborating, just like we had an event here last weekend. And it's beautiful to see all demographics, socioeconomic status. That's what my vision is, to unite, and with all this vision from the top to the bottom, we gotta start local. We gotta unite from the bottom and come up together.
Well, right, okay.
Tonight we've heard a lot about the Sportsplex, we've heard about downtown, we've heard about a lot of different projects that have happened in Asheboro, and every single one of them started first with a vision, a big picture, a big idea. And there's one of my favorite small quotes is that without a vision, the people perish. We can talk about a lot of things that we want, a lot of little pieces, but without sitting down together with people from every community, from this community, from our leadership, from our charities and our organizations, to figure out what is the vision, the big vision for the East Side. Once we figure that out, then we can start filling in all the little pieces in order to make that place happen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for us. Real quick, I want to say this. That was a lot, right? That was a lot of information. That was a lot of people answering a lot of questions. And I understand if I was sitting in the seat, for as long as you've been sitting in the seat, if you might be a little tired. I understand that. But this ain't no game. What we're doing tonight is extremely important. We're not just talking about our future, we're talking about the future of our kids. We're talking about the future of our community. So I need y'all to do me a favor, and I need you to sit just a little while longer. Because now we're going to ask the city council members if they could come and exit the stage and we're gonna ask those that are running for candidates for mayor if they can come up. And I want you guys to be able to be here when this is over, because we're not just gonna throw you out. I want you guys to be able to meet and mingle and talk to each one of these city council members and these candidates for mayor. So you might have a question that we didn't get to ask, and then you can ask it directly yourself. Our future is too important for us to give up now. So can y'all stay with me? Y'all don't sound like it. Can y'all stay with me? Yeah. Can y'all stay with me? Yeah. Y'all give it up for our city council members. Can I get some more water, please? Oh, okay, all right, got it.
I know, what city?
Hey, where's my sister at?
Right
Where's
here,
my sister Tammy at?
right here.
Come here for a second. So while we're waiting for the mayoral candidates to come up, I'm gonna ask my sister to come up and do the hokey pokey for everybody. Come on, man. My mayoral candidates, please come to the front. Did they leave? Did my mayoral candidates leave? Once again, we're asking the mayoral candidates to please make their way to the stage. Our goal was to have everybody home by 8 o'clock, and I'm not going to make that goal, but I'm going to get close to it. I am going to get close to it. If we can all have a seat now, please. If we can all have a seat now, please. Again, this is very important. And I know you wouldn't be here if you didn't already know that it was important. But I want us to really delve into the questions. I think we got a good combination of questions from you earlier. So I think we'll be able to really delve into the mayoral candidates in a way that we couldn't get into the other ones because it's not as many people. And so I hope that you glean something from this, and also I hope that before you leave, you take the time to meet the city council candidates and the mayoral candidates before you leave. All right. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for those people running for the office of mayor in the city of Asheboro, North Carolina. We're going to start on this side this time, since I started on that side last time. We're going to start on this side, and we're going to ask you to please introduce yourselves, and then we'd ask you to take 2 minutes to tell us about yourself and your candidacy.
There's the button. Hey, good evening. My name's Eddie Burks. I've been a member of the Asheboro City Council for the past 18 years. I am just a public servant. That is all I am. All of us up here running for mayor, we are part of a team. If any of us are elected, we don't get a vote unless there's a tie, and that's very, very rare. So when I first came on city council, it was right after Forbes magazine said we were the 4th fastest dying city in America. Mayor Gerald was there, he heard that. And we heard it, and what we did is we started planning how in the world could we redefine what our city is, what we have become. And really, Forbes wasn't wrong. If you look at the numbers of jobs we lost, we were dying. And what we decided to do is we were going to reinvent what we were, and we were going to take what we had and make the most of it. We started with downtown revitalization, and we started with the Sunset Theater. And Chip, I know you know a lot about the Sunset Theater. Mayor Gerald started that to happen. A thing I wrote up on the city council website that first time was I wanted to revitalize some of the existing old buildings that were empty downtown. Each time I got reelected, I kept thinking I need to change that. But we hadn't quite finished that project yet. We kept finishing, kept working on it. And I want you to look at downtown now. We filled up those buildings. We still had North Street, Acme Building to finish, but we're getting there. And what we did when we were spending money, a lot of the council members, candidates were up here talking about spending money. Well, that's like fixing up your house. You've got to make your house attractive so that you can bring new industry in. And when you're trying to recruit a Toyota to come into your county, if you don't have a nice city with amenities like these executives who came from other parts of the country, even around the world, they want to come to a place that's nice. They want to come to a place that's thriving, and we're thriving. We have gone from dying to thriving. Now, I'm not a wealthy man myself. I am richly blessed. Thank you. My name's Eddie Burks.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful night. My name is Jennifer Picardo. I grew up here in Asheboro. I moved here when I was 9 years old. I grew up over by Asheboro Housing Authority, right beside the Our Daily Bread. I went to Winston-Salem State University, where I graduated with my degree in healthcare management, specifically in public health, which is what pushed me to get into politics. I am running because I know I can represent a very different population that we're not used to seeing being represented, and because we need more programs for our youth, specifically to help the parents and the youth. I've been here, we've talked about what is going on with gun violence within our children. The thing is, it's poverty. We've seen it, we know it. They don't have enough youth programs. And when they do have youth programs, they're not able to get to those youth programs. So we need to make sure that we're helping our communities, our parents, by implementing these youth programs and making sure that all the available resources that we already have in these communities are used. I'm over here trying to represent a different part of the community, but also try to include everybody in the part of getting everybody in Asheboro to make sure that we create an Asheboro for everybody where our youth can thrive, not only a certain population. Thank you guys. My name is Jennifer Picardo. If you need more information about my candidacy, please feel free to look on my Facebook page, Jennifer Picardo for Mayor, or my personal page, Jennifer Picardo.
My name is Joey Trogdon. I am running for mayor. I have been on the city council for the past 2 years. I've been involved in other city stuff coming along. I was born here, raised here, went off to school for 4 years, came back, married, raised my family here, and I hope to retire here. I really hope to retire. I have the pleasure of knowing a lot of the folks in this room. I've heard from several folks in this room. The biggest thing, it goes back to what was said earlier, is communication. We need to hear what's going on. I get pictures of the homeless folks. People, I said, when was this taken? Well, 2 weeks ago. And I said, well, you need, if something is really offensive, call 911, if that's okay. But if these folks need help, call someone else that can help them. There's a lot of available departments or groups out there to help them. I'm running to represent everybody. My phone number's on the city website. I get a lot of folks give me calls and concerns. I have really enjoyed the last 2 years helping people. I mean, everybody says, let's help people. Well, they got a problem. Let's face it, most of the stuff that comes up is little stuff. My garbage didn't get picked up. My leaves didn't get picked up. Well, I can't run over and pick them up, but I can call and find out what's going on, or I can give you the number to call. And if you have a problem, I always tell them, you call me back and we'll get into it further. And usually it's a simple resolution like that. And that's a big thing. I mean, that's what I have taken out of the last 2 years. I ran on fiscal responsibility. I ran on being conservative when it came to spending money. I think if you check the minutes or the YouTube, you'll see I stood strong on that. And I plan to continue that as mayor. I think it's our responsibility to account for every dollar spent. Thank you. My name is Joey Trogdon, and I'm running for mayor. Thank you.
Thank you all for those opening statements. This first question is going to be to each one of you, and the question is, what are your top 3 priorities for our city, and how do you plan to achieve these priorities? And we're going to start with you, Mr. Carter.
My top 3 priorities are making sure that we have clean air, water, and land, making sure that we hold all organizations accountable, and making sure that we provide safe drinking water for all of our residents. My second priority would be the youth, making sure that we have enough programs, after school programs, that are available to them, and also work on transportation to make sure that they're able to get there. My second priority would be helping small businesses grow, because I know a lot of people like to work for different organizations, but at the same time we're seeing the cost of living rise, but our paychecks are not rising. And we are bringing jobs here into our community, but they're not jobs that are paying a living wage. So making sure that we help small businesses that want to grow, so they can be able to afford their needs and the needs of their children as well.
You know, the city, what they do is not necessarily glamorous. I mean, and everybody's touched on a lot of that. I mean, our job is to get water, clean water to you, take care of the sewage, garbage, police protection, fire protection. And there's a lot into that. And we've been blessed with a lot of good employees. I've learned that over the last few years. We have a strong group of employees. Many are here tonight. I'm excited by our new city manager. He brings a wealth of experience. You've seen morale change, I think, with the staff and the employees. We have some folks who are thinking of retiring, and now they're going to hang around, which is great for us because we'll have their expertise. As far as what I say all that because the infrastructure that we all keep referring to is the big deal. Without that, you can't have businesses. You can't develop property. We've been blessed with a lot of water, and we have a lot of water in Asheboro, but we've got to get it out and get it to places. And if we can't do that, then we can't expand and we can't grow. Now, having that asset, we can control how we grow, and we can have a say into what the ultimate build out would be of a new company coming in here. And it'll also expand our tax base when they do it. Another thing that I get a lot of calls are the homeless situation. And that is a complex situation. And we all talked about it tonight. And it's going to take 5 or 6 different groups working together, the county commissioners, the treatment. We have 5 treatment facilities in Asheboro. And we have to find a way to help these folks when they come out. Some cities, some counties, they put money in the fund to give these folks back to rides, get bus tickets or transport them back to where their home is, to get them back home. It's pretty scary to get brought to a town and then you get put out and you don't know anybody. So I'll get to number 3 later. Thank you.
First of all, everything that we do with the city, we need vision. I heard someone speak about vision earlier. And if we're not looking at every item that we vote on for how that impacts our community for 20 years down the road, we're not doing our job as we should do to look after the next generation of people. First of all, we spend half our budget on public safety with police and fire. That's a top priority. We want to make sure that our police force, our fire departments, our building inspections, that they are there. That's a priority that we need to make sure that we have going forward, because if it's not a safe community for you and your family, it's not a safe community for businesses to come here. So second, I need to make sure that we get businesses coming in here. We are becoming more of a regional. We're still the great little small town that we've always been, but we're growing and we're becoming more of a regional partner with other communities that are around us as we're running water out to Chatham County now. So we're looking at developing that whole eastern half of Randolph County, but Asheboro is the provider of that water. We are richly blessed with water, so that's going to bring more industry. So we've got to make sure that we have the proper infrastructure, and that's going to be a big ask to do. People spoke about our taxes earlier. We have done a really good job, or a poor job, however you want to look at it, keeping taxes low. But boy, once you had to raise them, because we did have to raise them, because we could not provide for the citizens with the levels that we were at. It's just like your business. If you want your business to grow, sometimes you got to raise your prices on things because things just cost more. So I want to make sure that we have the business structure here. We got to have the infrastructure here. We want to grow for the future. And third, we need to make sure that we are taking advantage of the greatest thing that we have that no other city in the country has, and that's the North Carolina Zoological Park. The state asked us to annex the zoo this year. So the zoo will be providing will get services from the city that they couldn't have before. So this is where it's going to grow. I know people always talked about when alcohol was passed that we'd have all these hotels and convention centers. And Vanessa, I think the zoo's where it ought to go.
I'm telling y'all, don't play with Ms. Brooks now. I'm telling y'all. All right, this next question is a question especially for someone who is wanting to be mayor. And the question is, how do we overcome the polarization grappling our country and look past ideological differences to advance the interest of our residents? So when you're looking at a community or at a nation that seems to be dividing more and more each day, what can the mayor do to help bring people together?
Well, I know we see on a federal level that there are elected officials who are trying to separate us. The most important thing though that we can do is to make sure that there are different individuals at the table. So far, we've only seen white males at the table catering to that specific population, but we need more individuals from different backgrounds, from different socioeconomic status, from different races, to put their perspective in so we can hear what they're going through. Because if we only see it from one perspective, the only decisions that are going to be made are for that target population. And the rest of the population is going to feel left out. So if we are not bringing those people to the table, then it's going to continue to become polarized. And we don't want that. So we need to make sure that we have individuals making decisions that have different perspectives, that have different backgrounds, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to bring people together.
What's on the national level and what's on our local level, they're not always the same. It's easy to divide on a national level. I hate these hyphenated things that we do. You're such and such American, half whatever that hyphen is. That doesn't bring unity. I came up very poor, and education helped me to get to where I am today. I am the son of an immigrant. I have been homeless. I have worked for other people for very little money. And at some point, my education and my hard work and just being a leader in the community helped me to start my own company. Now, I've been in business for myself for 23 years. And a rising tide floats all ships. And if we bring business to Asheboro, that floats all ships. If we bring business, we bring jobs. That helps everybody. And when you're talking about poverty, the jobs that are coming in now are well above what our national and what our state averages are. And that is going to be a huge impact that we're going to have. And we're going to play a role in that as the city of Asheboro. The mayor, all we do is we set the tone. We go out, we are the face of the city of Asheboro. And relationships matter, experience matters. When I go to Raleigh, I've got relationships with everybody in Raleigh. Well, not everybody, but a real good percentage. I've got relationships with our federal agents as well that represent us. I think they listen to me. I know they listen to me. I've been able to make things happen all across our city, and I've also helped things happen across the state. So, and if you want to know more about that, I'll tell you about that, but I'm only here to talk about Asheboro tonight. So let's make Asheboro grow, and we can lift everybody up out of poverty. And I've had that experience. I know where we're coming from.
That's an interesting question. I mean, we're little old Asheboro, you know, and for us to change the political climate across the nation is a big ask. And I'm concerned more about who lives here in Asheboro and Randolph County and how we get along. And there's slices, and we're all different. And it's not, the mayor's responsibility is to work to create an environment where everybody has equal opportunity. You can't guarantee equal outcomes, but you have equal opportunities. And I hate, it sounds like a broken record, but the communication part, just like the east side. I said over here previously 2 years ago, as Mary Jones said, pick a plan, get an idea, bring it up there. And the city's receptive to that, but they have to hear from you. So the mayor does not vote, like you said, unless there's 7, so you have to have somebody out and all that stuff. The city council steers the ship. They row the boat. The mayor steers the ship and helps to do and get direction, get out there, talk to people and help, and support the council and to unify the council so that everybody's heard and everybody gets represented, and we offer a unified solution and everybody's had their chance to have their say.
All right, next question is, what is our hospital system? What are the plans to improve our healthcare system locally so that we don't need to drive to High Point or Greensboro? Are you all aware of any current or aware of any plans to improve our healthcare system?
I have good relationships with Cone Health. I have good relationships with Randolph Health. Randolph Health, they're doing some things that we've talked to them in closed session, which I can't talk about at the moment. But with regard to Cone Health, if you've been to the facility on Spiro Road, it's a wonderful facility. You need to go up there and check it out. They have a little bit of everything from a pharmacy to, you can go in and urgent care if you want. They have room there for 2 more buildings that are, I think that building currently is over 6,000 square feet. I think they have room for at least 2 more that are the same size. So that's going to be an advantage for us going forward, because without good health care, it's really hard to, again, I'm getting back to business. Calvin Coolidge said roughly was the business of America is business. If you don't have a good health care system in place, you don't get businesses moving here. And there again, without the new businesses coming in, that helps end our poverty problem.
So there are many people without health care. I know, we know many people without health care. The problem with that is the cost of health care. We do have several organizations here in town that are on a sliding scale, but many people don't know that they exist. They only find out about them when they have a really big problem. So making sure that we get those services, the knowledge of those services out to the community, letting them know, hey, these are the services that are there for you if you ever need them. Also, making sure that we have more mental health services here in Asheboro. I know the suicide rate among young people is going up, and we need to make sure that they have access to that. Also, the homeless population, they need those services as well. I've spoken to many of them myself, and I've seen that, some of the things that they are going through not only needs therapy, but also needs medication. And some of these services, like, what is that one called that they were just talking about? Daymark. I've been to Daymark myself. Their services are great, but the pay, it's not great. So we need to make sure that we have more doctors that are able to help the individuals. They also have several different other problems that need to be addressed within that community that hopefully we can get into as well. But cost and access to services is the most important thing that we need to make sure that we get information out to people here in Asheboro so they know where they can get the services at an affordable rate.
To be a viable community, you've got to have a hospital and you've got to have health care. And it needs to be available to everyone. As Mr. Burks mentioned, there is some discussions going on. There were a lot of rumors out there a few months ago. Most of that was not true. But there also, you know, the county is, when we've had joint meetings with the county to make sure that we're set up for the future and we'll be ready if there are any changes. There are several major chains that are looking in this area and are certainly interested in this area. It gets back to the state allowing, you know, certificate of need, number of beds, that type of stuff. And there's a lot of paperwork to go through to get all that done. But it is being pursued, and hopefully they'll be able to be discussed about in the near future. Thank you.
All right. Next question. What specific steps would you take to attract new business and support existing local businesses? And to that, how will you ensure growth benefits all neighborhoods equitably?
I have been a proponent of a fast track type system over the years. I met with county and city officials probably 10 years ago. And, you know, we have a protracted process, although it's gotten better. But when you have somebody that wants to come in and they're ready to move, most companies, we work with several Fortune 500 and Fortune 250s, they make the decision and they want it built yesterday. It's like it didn't take you but 2 years to decide and now you want it in 6 months. And you hear the term site-ready jobs. Well, what that means, people think it means, well, we have to have the pad graded and ready to build the building. What that means is all the paperwork's done. The zoning's approved, the water and sewer is there, and we can come in and get a permit and go to work within 60 days. A lot of times now, especially when you get in bigger towns, we're fortunately we're not in that case, but it's a 90 to 120 day or even a year before you can get a permit. And that stifles your expansions, it stifles, and unless you're the one needing the permit, you don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff. And because I know I'm the deliverer of the bad news a lot of times. But with that said, you know, somebody comes in and wants to bring in 50 new jobs, not minimum wage, but good paying jobs, then I think they get a fast track and they get moved up. And I mean, you've got to have so many days to advertise and that stuff. But if they have to bump somebody off of the public hearing for that month, then they get a priority. And we make sure that they fast track. People get scared off when you go, I've gone into other towns and they say, we got to do this, and this. And I'm in the business. If you go in there as just an individual who has never done it, I mean, it's terrifying. I mean, it is. So we have a good environment here. You know, we just need to make sure that we're not the part that's holding people back. If somebody wants to come to Asheboro, we're open for business. Just let us know and we'll get to work on it.
Well, I would work with RCC. I know they already have programs available for small businesses. Also making sure that if there are any grants available, that people know about it. And the only way that they would know about it is if we're able to get that information out to the community. That's how we can make sure that the growth is equitable. I'm very knowledgeable with making videos and making sure that people know all of the information that they need to know. So if I am elected mayor, I would be able to get all of that information out into the community. And that is something that I can definitely bring to the table, as well as making sure that information is both in English and in Spanish. If I knew another language, I would definitely make those videos in a different language as well.
To further some of the things that Mr. Trogdon said, I mean, we, as a city, we're very good about bringing business into our city. When we have developers coming from around the state or even locally from the Triad, we get rave reviews on how easy it is to do business with the city of Asheboro, and we want it that way because we want businesses coming here. Now, I've spent a career in working with small businesses. I've made small businesses bigger. My very first client was Thomas Tire. Thomas Tire was 3 stores. They're huge now. So I helped them get to where they were. Paul Thomas said if it wasn't for me, he'd have never made it through the recession. So I'm thankful that I was able to do that, and I've done that for other small businesses as well. But that's not a role that the mayor has. The mayor will make sure that we're attracting business, but there's a lot of private stuff. You can't expect public to come and do everything. So when you ask how it's going to be equitable in all neighborhoods, that's a sticky thing there. Are you expecting the government to come in with eminent domain and say, I'm going to take this block and put this business here? You can't do that. That's not right. So private investment with public help is a tremendous thing. So we need public-private partnerships to make all these things happen. Now, whether it happens in one neighborhood or another, but if it happens in Asheboro or if it happens out in the county somewhere and we were able to help facilitate that, it will make Asheboro, it'll make Randolph County good. And we're becoming more of a regional place. People are coming from all over, and this is going to be a regional city soon, in 20 years. My vision is always 20 years down the road. 20 years from now, we will be a big region.
Great. This next question is going to seem like it's the same question, but it's not. It's not really dealing with bringing in new business as much as it is a quality of life question. So look at this from a quality of life standpoint. How would you make Asheboro more attractive to young professionals and entrepreneurs?
So to young professionals, well, it depends. Are we talking about families or younger people without children? Did it specify? No? Okay. So we all want to live in a place where we work and play, have fun. So we need to make sure that we have more activities for people to do out here in the community. I know parents specifically want to do activities that are low cost, if free, if possible. And that's what I really want to make sure that we focus on here in the city. I have a vision to make sure that working families stay here, they play here, because for so long they've gone out to Greensboro, they go out to different places when they could be spending all of that money here in Asheboro. So if we can make sure that we have enough activities here in Asheboro, then we can make sure that we attract the right people, the people that want to live here, that want to stay here, grow some roots, make sure that their children grow up in a safe environment, because we already provide that this is already a safe environment for children here. So we need to make sure that, we also treat them correctly. Sometimes, I don't know, I know you guys didn't ask about this question, but racism, a lot of people still feel like racism is alive and well here in Asheboro, and we have to call it out. We have to make sure that the younger people who are trying to come and live here, they say, oh, it's kind of the South, you know how it is. We grew up here, so we've kind of been conditioned to those situations. They haven't. So we need to make sure that we address those situations head on and make sure that we get rid of them, because people aren't going to want to stay here if we continue to allow those kinds of negative situations to happen.
That is a good question, I will say. And part of the problem, and we've talked about it, is in the way businesses are run today. We had Georgia-Pacific, Goodyear, and I'm not going to go through the litany of plants. My point is, they brought people into the community, white-collar jobs, as they like to call them. They're the ones that moved in, they stayed in, decisions were made in Asheboro. And then when you had NAFTA come in and you lost Black & Decker, and we lost some other folks, now, for example, there's several plants, they have a plant manager, but the decisions to do anything are made 3 or 4 states away. They do not put in the upper management that they used to. Years ago, when we had all the hosiery plants and furniture plants and everything, we had 13 banks in Asheboro. 13. and 13 city executives with those banks and people that were brought in. All those folks are gone, you know. So my question, we have to work with the industry. We need to make it conducive so these industries will bring these people back, and if it's a good way. It is hard. People want a bigger, brighter, shinier object to go to. But with the renovations, with the sportsplex and stuff that has been done, and we can get our infrastructure ready to accept all those people, I think that you're going to see a shift and change of attitudes, and we'll have more people staying instead of going to Greensboro.
So we've spent the last 18 years working on quality of life things. That's what's helped bring new businesses in here. We've talked about the sportsplex and all the nice amenities, and it's nice to go downtown now. So we have spent the last 18 years in developing that. So things don't happen overnight. It takes a while. The wheels of government roll slowly, but they do roll. And we are getting to where we need to be. We're not quite there yet, but we're going to get there. When you were mentioning banks and things, in 2000, there was a 2020 study, and I looked at that study a few months ago, and all these industries and banks and stuff that were here, Energizer's the only one that's still here from 2000. So things have changed. But we're replacing those types of businesses, the textiles and the furniture, with high-tech stuff that's coming in with the Toyota battery. And even though I know that's not right downtown Asheboro, but it is impacting our city tremendously. Those executives are coming, and they are staying here. Their families are coming here. We mentioned a while ago there were 1,800 housing units that we have already approved for the city. If we could get workers to build them, those would happen a lot sooner. But they're going to bring families, and their families are going to grow up here, and they're going to have good jobs, whether they're working downtown Asheboro or out in the county somewhere. They're going to choose here to live. Their children are going to go away to college. They're going to come back where these good jobs are, and they're going to stay here. And you're going to see our city grow. It's not going to grow, I don't think, the tremendous amount that we were told a few years ago that Randolph County was going to grow by 90 to 100,000 people in 9 years. But I do think Randolph County will probably grow by about 30 or 35,000. It'll be split up among Alamance, Chatham, Guilford. But I think 100,000 people is not a big stretch for our region to grow in a very short amount of time.
Well, thank you all for taking our questions. And ladies and gentlemen, please, one more time, give it up for our mayoral candidate. I want to take a moment. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank y'all for coming. I really do. I really feel like Asheboro is one of the best places on the face of the earth to live. If I didn't feel like that, I got enough money in my pocket and enough gas in my car to move someplace else. But this is where we are. And I think that together we can make it even better. And that's why I'm so excited to see these faces here tonight. I'm so excited to see so many people campaigning. And I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your day to come and I guess what's the word I'm looking for with the try out? And try out, I guess that's the word I'm gonna have to use. That's not the word I was looking for. But try out to be civil servants for us here in the city of Asheboro. Now, before you leave, those city council members that are still here, these mayoral candidates that are still here, stop them. Ask them the question that you wanted answered that I didn't get to ask and that I didn't see. Go ahead and ask them, talk to them, get a good feel for who these people are, because these are the people that are going to be making decisions about our lives in the very near future. So other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming and have a good night.
Mr. Faust, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Since you sprung October 17th on us when we got here, are the Blue Comets playing at home that night?
It's a Wednesday
Are
night.
they playing? It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday night.
October 17th?
October 17th. Huh? Oh, I gave y'all the wrong
Yeah,
day.
you said October 17th.
Yeah.
I just thought, you done messed up. You ain't gonna get anybody here on the 17th.
It's October the 15th, because I knew it was a Wednesday night. And we do it because we have an after-school program here. And that after-school program is not in session whenever the middle schools are they let out early. And so the middle schools are letting out early that day, so we have time to set all of this stuff up. And tonight, whenever everybody leaves, there are people who come in and get it all set up for the middle school all over again. We have to do that until we build the new classrooms on the other side of this wall, which is also coming pretty soon. But yes, it will be Wednesday, October the 15th at 6 p.m. All right? All right, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I had everybody leaving thinking the 17th.
And thank you to everybody online. We hope you enjoyed it. Y'all have a blessed night.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Jimmy.
So many compliments for the job you did at the food team.
I just gotta shut this off. Yes, I can. Are you sure?